7 sets, 9 cars. This is the complete wave of Speed Champions in 2017. You can tell these are 2017 sets based on the yellowish orange logo of Speed Champions. The first 3 years they did different colors, then they switched to silver permanently. I'm going to show you the details of each of the sets up close and do a spin of the cars later. I have all of these sets built already. In fact, I did a video of opening and building that one on the Green Brick channel months ago. Then I did a separate Ferrari video for this one and some other Ferraris of different years. So if you want to check those videos, feel free to do so. I am missing a couple of boxes that I discarded a long time ago when I built the McLaren 720S and the Bugatti Chiron. This is a full-on playset with 7 minifigures. I'll show you an up-close look at them later on. But this is rearrangeable. This is the preferred arrangement as shown on the box, and it makes the most sense creating this pit lane. But this starting line can be moved around. These can pivot because they're connected with a bar and clips. Same with this side. And over here, the winner's podium can be put wherever you want it. It's not attached. Behind the wall that has the starting lights attached to it, we've got a couple of monitors so that the team can monitor the performance of the cars and the race details. Here's a look at pit lane. We've got an arrangement of tools scattered about, a console with a keyboard there. On this side, we have only one extra wheel and tire. Would have been nice to have a set of 4, especially those green ones that are equipped to the cars. We've got this replaceable wing for one of the cars if something were to happen or to change aerodynamics. No extra nose pieces though. And then here's where you enter into the garage, and there's a lot of details up here, including lights and signage, and we also have some air hoses for changing out those tires. In an ordinary pit stop, you'd pull your car up here. This guy'd hoist your car up into the air with his tool. For somebody to change out the tires, you're going to need to provide more of your own pit crew to help out with that. And here are the air hoses to take off those lug nuts in a hurry. Choo, 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 choo. And then reach to the other side and, well, can't stretch that far. You got to pull a little bit closer. But if there is a problem with your car, well, you just pull it into the garage or the team pushes it in. And, okay, the nose is touching here. It doesn't work perfectly with the clearance, but it works well enough. Here's a look at the inside of the garage. And when you pull your back wheels onto that first spot, that's where your team can do some diagnostic testing. Or you can pull all the way back here, and there's a mechanism right here. When you push down on it, it lifts the car into the air so the team can look underneath it. Here's a closer look at the cart with the diagnostic equipment. There's also a hot dog stand included, which sells Roscoe's dogs and a vendor, or you can have this guy as a cameraman if you want. And the back of the box suggested another arrangement of all of these pieces put together just in a straight line, and that looks pretty good too. Though the winner's podium is not connected, there's no point of connection to secure it into place, though it does provide a good look. Here's a look at the winner's podium. Down below, we've got a live recording of an interview with the driver. Up above is a recording of the race. And then there's this action feature. When I turn this knob back here, it reveals the winner. He's holding up a trophy, which is that trophy down below. And here's a look at the mechanisms involved to make that action feature work. And who doesn't love these F1 cars? We get 2 of them in the set, and they drive so easily. As long as you leave a little bit of play in between the Technic parts, that axle going all the way through just makes it so smooth. Much smoother than the other cars in the series, where you can't just let them roll like that. That's what makes them so fun to play with. These noses can be removed easily because they're just attached with this cross-axle pin, and they can be swapped out. Too bad they didn't have extras in the set to swap out with, but it's a cool play feature. I think I said earlier there were 7 minifigures in the set. Well, actually there are 8, and these are them. Only the 2 females have alternate expressions, and you can see them right now. Each one of these figures has printing on the back of their torsos, and here's how they look. I'll do a spin of these cars later on with the rest of them, but for now, let's take a look at our beloved Ferraris. This is one of 4 single packs that was released in 2017. Each of them cost $15 US. This is the Scuderia Ferrari SF16H. And what's cool about it is the car itself, of course, but you can also swap out the color of the helmet in this tile to make it the other driver. Oops, I had this jumper plate situated incorrectly. This represents the camera on top of the car. There we go. Each team in F1 has 2 drivers and 2 cars, so it's nice to have that option to switch out to the other driver. Now, this set did come with a side build with a simple action feature here. And here's a look at the other side. Here's a look at the minifigure from the front and from the back. There's no alternate expression on this guy. The Ferrari FXXK in Development Center retailed for $50 US. It has 1 car and 4 minifigures. I'll give the car a spin later on, but first let's look at the Development Center. We've got a 3D printing machine, an engine here hooked up to some diagnostic equipment, different decorations on the walls done up with stickers, including a sketch of the car, and on the other side is a graph showing some performance details. And over here is the wind tunnel. This is by far the best feature of the set. The wind tunnel, you pull your car up onto this ramp, you're going to be scraping the bottom of the car because of its low clearance. But your wheels are going to rest on these slopes, and this can be adjusted and because you want to make sure your back wheels are resting on these cylinders back here, because what you're going to do is turn this lever, and let me hold it with 2 hands. There you go. There's 2 things going on at once when you're spinning this lever. The wind turbine spins, allowing the team to monitor the aerodynamics of the car, and the back wheels are spinning. There's even a spot on the ramp where you can attach the diagnostic equipment, hook it up to the exhaust on the car, and further monitor the performance of this car. Yeah, it's a fun play feature. Now that we've looked at the Ferraris, it's time we look at some Fords. Before I look at those Fords, here's a look at the 4 minifigures included in that previous set. An alternate expression is shown for the driver, and here's a look at the backs. This set retailed for $30 US. It includes 2 cars, 3 minifigures, a podium with a trophy. We've got the classic 1966 Ford GT40 Le Mans racing car and the newer 2016 Ford GT Le Mans racing car. I was inspired to build this set after watching the Ford vs. Ferrari movie. And speaking of which, here's some classic Ferraris. We've got the 1962 250 GTO right here, as well as the 1970 512M. Once again, I'll come back to the cars later. The podium is a nice little build, and here's a look at the 3 minifigures included. These are the last 3 cars to look at. We've got the Mercedes-AMG GT3 race car, the McLaren 720S street car, and the Bugatti Chiron. The side to build for the Mercedes-AMG GT3 car was a swappable front end. You can just simply remove that and put this one on. And it's a pretty cool play feature to quickly change the look of the car that easily without actually having to physically remove bricks. And the wing also removes to give it a completely different look. Here's a look at its minifigure. The McLaren 720S included a designer with a hairpiece rather than your typical race car driver. Now there was a side build as part of this set, but I broke it down years ago. The Bugatti Chiron simply has 3 cones for its side build. And here's a look at the driver. Now let's take a closer look at all of the cars. And now for my favorite part of the video, where I'll give each car a spin while laying down some facts and expressing my opinions. I will start with the one and only Bugatti. This French car remains unique to the theme. It has the car's signature two-toned color scheme, and the most clever part of the build is the use of the red rubber band for the taillights. This technique allows the LEGO model to match the real car with its thin taillights. The canopy is printed, with the exception of stickers on the sides. The front end's details are accomplished with stickers. The front end is a lot more studdy than the back, and it's mainly because of the fender piece design. I don't know if you want to call it a flaw, but these fenders back then, it had the studs way too high, and so many of the Speed Champions cars share this problem. It wouldn't be improved until 2023 when we got an updated fender element with the same shape where the studs were lowered, and it allowed a lower surface for tiling over without making the area above the fender too tall. And the 1x2 plates right here, they can easily be swapped out with 1x2 tiles to make it a smoother look. I do like the engine build-up details back here. Here, let me raise it up a bit. There we go. And overall, it's a pretty cool car. Again, the same fender pieces are being used here on the McLaren 720S, and they leave a lot of studs showing on the front. I won't be focusing on interior details as there's really not much going on under the canopy. And as you may have noticed, I tend to favor orange-colored cars, as there aren't too many of them and they really draw my attention. I like the fact that the headlights are built up, but definitely could have used a different transparent piece and not a stud. One that would cover up the exposed black stud in there. Maybe a 1x2 by 2/3 transparent slope. Well, it wasn't available back then, but sure, improvements can be made to this now. But LEGO really needs to remake this one eventually. I love the color scheme of the Mercedes-AMG GT3. The dark gray with the accents of yellow all look good to me. And yes, the wheels are yellow too, not black. So different. I forgot to include the wheel covers earlier in my video clips. I left them off years ago because I liked seeing the yellow wheels for a change. For the most part, I like the shaping of this car. The angled 1x2 trans red tiles in the back though are kind of questionable and doesn't seem right to building standards of LEGO. This car has great playability with the swappable front end and the rear wing attachment, and inspires me for doing customization. The 1966 Ford GT40 is incredible. From its color scheme to its shape, I love almost everything about this. Gold wheels, gray striping, yes. You can easily make it to where no studs are showing, but even as it is already, it's very sleek. I have nothing but good things to say about this one, honestly, and I applaud the designer for this car. The 2016 Ford GT looks pretty good too. Not near as smooth looking as the GT40 though. The printed canopy is a nice touch. In general, pretty decent build for its time, though we would see a much better looking Ford GT years later. Any LEGO Ferrari car is cool, right? But this car in real life is sweet looking. The LEGO model is just okay to me. There's absolutely no prints on this. It's a fun toy car, but displayability falls short. The SF16H from Ferrari is classic. I like the look of fenderless race cars in real life and in toy form. And we have yet to see a rendition of Ferrari's F1 car in 8-stud wide scale, but I'm sure it's coming. None of these F1 cars have printed elements. Would have at least liked the manufacturer's emblem printed, like the Mercedes logo on this cheese slope in front. I do like the green highlights of these Mercedes-AMG Petronas cars, especially the green wheels. Teal probably would have been a more accurate color choice, but I think this was designed before teal came about, or back into LEGO's color palette. This car is pretty much the same as the last, but with a different number and different colored jumper plate on top. Really appreciate them including both drivers and their cars in this set. Well, that wraps up this video, taking a look at the 2017 Speed Champions line. Which of these cars or playsets is your favorite?